You know that sound? That sudden, sharp ring of a phone call you weren't expecting? For a lot of us, it doesn't spark joy. It brings this jolt of instant anxiety. And you might think, oh, it's just me, I'm just bad at phones. But what if I told you the reason you hate those calls has absolutely nothing to do with social anxiety and everything to do with how your brain is actually wired for deep work?
Think about it. You're deep in the zone, right? You're finally concentrating on a big project, and then, bzz, bzz, your focus just shatters into a million pieces. You feel this wave of irritation, maybe even a little bit of panic. If that sounds even vaguely familiar, you're in exactly the right place. We're about to unpack what is really going on in your brain in that moment.
For years, we've all just kind of chalked this up to being an introvert or having phone anxiety. But it turns out the latest thinking in psychology points to something way more fundamental. It's all about protecting the single most valuable resource you have, your attention.
Okay, so to really get why a simple phone call can feel so aggressive, we have to understand the space it's actually invading. And I'm not talking about your physical space, I'm talking about your mental space. I want you to imagine your mind, when you're really concentrating, as this private, totally soundproofed office. This is what we call your cognitive focus. It's this protected workspace you've built inside your head to solve problems, to be creative, to just think. Everything's organized and you are in total control. Now, an unscheduled call, it doesn't politely knock on the door of that mental office. Oh no, it kicks the door clean off its hinges. It is an auditory intruder that does not care what you're doing, and it demands you drop everything and deal with it right this second. It just blows up the entire delicate architecture of your focus. And that feeling, that jolt of anxiety you get, it actually has a name: territorial stress. It's the exact same feeling you'd get if a stranger just walked into your house uninvited. Your brain literally perceives that unexpected call as a breach of your mental territory, and it reacts with a classic fight-or-flight response. So that anxiety you feel, it's a completely normal reaction to what your brain sees as a hostile takeover.
But here is where we get to flip the whole script. This isn't just about stress or anxiety. It's really about a preference. It's about the kind of information your brain is actually optimized to process.
This is so fascinating when you break it down. On one side, you have low-bandwidth phone calls. They're totally unscheduled, they demand your attention now, and they strip away all the important stuff, the nonverbal cues like tone, body language, facial expressions that give a conversation its actual richness. But on the other side, you have high-bandwidth communication. Think a scheduled meeting or a thoughtful email. It's either planned or it's asynchronous, meaning it respects your time and it is packed with context. Your brain isn't being difficult, it's just craving more data.
And that right there is the single biggest idea from this whole explainer. What you've probably been calling phone anxiety your whole life might just be a high bandwidth preference. You're not scared of talking to people, you are frustrated by a low-quality, inefficient, and disruptive method of communicating. It's a processing preference, not a personality flaw.
All right, so once you have this realization, how do you explain it to other people without sounding, rude or difficult? Well, you need a new script. One that's built on these exact concepts we've just been talking about. Let's actually build one. Okay, here's your new script. It's super simple. Instead of just reacting with frustration, you can state your needs clearly. You could try saying something like, for this topic, I really prefer high bandwidth communication. See how that frames it as a preference for quality? Or you could say, I really need to protect my cognitive focus right now. That's not personal, it's just a statement of fact. And then, the crucial part, you follow up with, let's schedule a time so I can give you my full attention. This shows the other person you do value them and the conversation, you just want to have it in a way that actually works.
So let's just put this in the simplest possible terms. This is the ultimate takeaway. You are not antisocial for wanting to let an unexpected call go to voicemail. You are pro-focus. You're just actively curating an environment that allows you to think, to create, and to work effectively. You are simply protecting your most valuable asset.
And that really leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? In a world that is literally built for instant access, a world that is constantly trying to barge into our mental territory, maybe the real skill, the new superpower, isn't about being always on and always available. Maybe it's about having the wisdom and the courage to protect our focus. What do you think?